Hey Nail Gang, welcome to my beginners series. My name is Lydia. I'm the one who does the tutorials, and we're going to be focusing majorly on nail prep, application, and shaping. So to begin our nail prep, I'm making use of my cuticle pusher, which is what I'm using right now, to push back the cuticle. This just helps to release that skin around the cuticle, and like release that from the nail bed. Next, I'm going in with this cuticle bit. To be honest, I'm not sure what they are actually called. These ones all came with my nail drill and they didn't have names on. I just call them cuticle bits because that's what I use them for. And you guys, if there's one thing you should know, is that I'm self-taught. I didn't actually like go to nail school or like sit to learn. I learned on my own, so everything I know is like from trial and errors. So I'm making use of this bit. It's like a pointy cone bit, and I'm just going around the cuticle area and like around the side walls as well. And what this bit does, going like around the cuticle, what this bit does is helps to further push back the cuticle and then just take off any dead skin hanging around the cuticle area, around the side walls, any of all those dead skin there. We don't want any of all those there. The essence of nail prep is to ensure that the nails last long, the nails are neat, the nails are clean. So that's just what we are doing. So sometimes I go back and forth. I put my drill on reverse sometimes, just so that I can get in there real good. Alrighty guys, so next I'm going in with my with my drill bit, my sanding band, and this one is 100 grits, which is why I'm also going on like three there. On my drill is 3000 rpms, so I'm going on 3000 rpms and I'm just going around like the nail bed. Take off that shine. She does have some polish, some nail polish on her nails, so I'm going to take off the nail polish, take off the shine from the natural nails, and I'm going to even go like towards the side walls as well and try to get as much of all that dead skin and like dead tissue hanging around the nail. I'm going to try and get as much as all of that as I can. And mind you guys, this video is edited like twice the actual speed, so this is not how fast I go in reality. 3000 rpm is actually really slow. Alrighty, so we're going next with this oblong oblong circular bit, and with this one I like to go on reverse, and I'm just going to go around the skin, like the skin around the nails, the side walls, the cuticle, and I'm going to just like, I'm working on reverse, so I'm going to use it to further push back the cuticle and then just try to get out any skin. You notice that I go even on the skin around the nail as well, so I'm just going to use it to push back any skin, like to take off any dead skin around the nail, and also to further push back the cuticle and just open that up real good so that I can finally see what I'm going to nip when the time comes. And now you guys, I haven't like trimmed my client's nails because at this point she wasn't sure if she wanted to keep them or not. I know it's weird. I've got some clients who still want to keep their nails, like they have hopes of doing an overlay, which is why they don't want to trim their nails. But normally you trim the nails first. So at this point I'd finally convinced her to cut her nails, which is why we are just cutting the nails. But if you were doing like a normal prep, ask your clients first if they want to have their nails trimmed, then you can finally also convince them to just kind of make it look neat as well. As you can see, the middle finger was broken and then every other nail was intact, so I thought we could just reduce the length so that when the nails eventually grow, they will all catch up. I think that's a much better like solution than leaving some of the nails long and then the rest are just very short. So just pay attention to all those as well. Sometimes your clients might want to do like an overlay for their next appointment, and so they want their nails on. So it's just a matter of making it look really neat. Alrighty guys, so I'm just dusting, taking off all that dust, and I'm going to go in now with my cuticle nippers, and I'm just going to nip at any of the dead skin and the dead cuticle hanging around, like on the nail, even on the side walls as well. You can just, if there's any dry, and you would know that the skin, like we're nipping up dead skin when you see that the nail or the skin around the cuticle is a lot drier and sometimes white, sometimes darker, sometimes hard. Yeah, so you'd know just how much to nip. My cuticle scissors, my cuticle nippers are not very sharp. This is like my third one that I'm on. I don't know if there's any way to sharpen your cuticle nippers. I usually just buy a new one, and I'm actually due for a new one. I want to try the scissors if they'll be much easier to work with, but you can make use of this or you can make use of the cuticle scissors, whichever is comfy for you. So I'm just nipping off all of that dead skin on there. And then the unfortunate thing about my nippers is that, like I said, they aren't so sharp and they would not cut. They will cut like raggedy. They won't cut so clean and fine. So what I usually do is I go back with my e-file with that, like oblong, yes, with this oblong bit right here. I go back with it, and then I just go down the cuticle as well, and that just helps to, make sure that the skin is smooth. It's like round and smooth and even, and not like having like, like cut marks or anything around that cuticle area. So that's just what I'm going to do, you guys. I'm going to do that to all of the nails and then we're going to move to our next step to conclude our nail prep. Alrighty guys, so we're just concluding the nail prep. I'm just going to spray some alcohol, and this is basically methylated spirit or rubbing alcohol. What I'm going to do, or what this step does, is to dehydrate the nails and then to take off any dust from the nail, any dirt, or like just any dust, any particles from the nail. And you can see that I pay very close attention to the side walls as well, so that from the onset our nail is like really neat. And then you guys can see just how clean and neat the nails are. You could even compare them to the ones on my hand. Alrighty, so these are the nail tips that we are using. I've sorted out the sizes already. So one tip is for you to ensure that the nail tips fit from sidewall to sidewall. Okay, so I'm just making use of my the nail glue I'm making use of is from CHB Luxury. I've been using their nail glue for such a long time now, and I really like it, and it's quite handy. So yeah, that's why I'm using that one. Alrighty, so for this nail tip, you'd see that tip is a bit too big. So what I do is I use my scissors to cut the ends out, and then that way the tip would fit in properly. So sometimes there's just a particular nail that doesn't have like a perfect size. You sort of have to modify the tip to fit. So I do it again on the like on the pinky, and you guys are going to see what I'm talking about in a second. So first off, I could notice that the pinky was the tip was a bit too big, so I just nip the sides just like that. Yeah, and then when I do that, the tips will sit in properly without even like coming out on the side or anything like that. Also, you guys, something to note is that when you're applying your nail tips, make sure to apply them straight or like in the direction of your client's nails. Sometimes your client might have a crooked nail. You could try to straighten that up, or if their nails are straight, just apply the tips, like in the direction the nail follows. Do not try to curve it or like bend it, because it would look wonky. And also, do not use nail tips that are bigger or that are smaller. It just makes the nails look like artificial and not exactly like natural and nice. So we're just cutting this nail down to her desired length, and as you can see, I'm pairing finger by finger to be sure that all of the lengths of the nails are even. We're going for like a medium length, so these nails still come down a lot more. Yeah, it still does come down a lot more, but at this point we're just trying to, I always leave room for filing. I forgot to say that, like when I cut down my nail tips, I always leave just a bit of just a little bit extra length for shaping and filing. And yeah, so next we're going to, what we're doing now is to shaping these nails. I'm going to make it into a tapered square, which is why you can see what I did on the side walls. I just apply my file straight, and I file straight out on each side, and then I do it for the other side, and then I'm going to blend the nail tips in. It's very important that you blend your nail tips in, especially like with nail tips, you don't want any side of the tip popping off when you finish laying your acrylic. I used to find that happen. So back to the shaping, I'm going on the side straight out, not covering my file or anything, and I'm making use of a 100 grit file, and then I'm just going to do the free edge. I'm just going to crisp that up. So if you want to reduce the amount of work that you have to do, this step is very important. Shaping your nail tips from the beginning before you even apply any product. So which is what we did. I did the side walls first, like I did earlier and said earlier, sorry, with my 100 grit file, and then I crisped up the free edge, and then I just blended the tips in. It's not compulsory you blend your tips in, and at the same time it comes down to preference, but I do advise that you blend your tips in, just so that during application, especially on the side walls, sometimes, like I said, the tips just not pop out, but it just blend the tips in, you guys. I have nowhere else or no how else to explain. Alrighty, so we finished shaping. I do the thumb off camera while we finish shaping the nails, and I'm just going to dust that free. Next, I'm going to go in with a cotton ball, and I'm going to further dehydrate the nails, take out any dust like that's entered into the nails from shaping our nail tips, and I'm just going to wipe clean. So also, do not wipe with acetone. You can dehydrate the nail beds with acetone, but do not wipe your nail tips with acetone. The tips will turn white and or may break. So alrighty guys, for our monomer, I'm making use of the CHB liquid. I'm just topping that up in my damping dish, and I'm also making use of my size 12 brush from KDS store on AliExpress. And then this is the powder I'm using today. It's called Leaf Green from CHB, and then also this is like a self-mixed glittered powder that I will be making use of. Alrighty, so to prep and prime, or to conclude our prep stage, I'm just applying primer, 1 coat of primer on all of the nails. And the essence of primer is to ensure that there's a good bond between the acrylic and like the product that you picked up on your natural nails. So the primer helps or aids in bonding the acrylic to your natural nails, and also just makes the nails last longer. Just some primers do sort of like disinfect the nails. I don't know if this one does, but this one does make the nails last longer. It does actually. Alrighty, so look at how nice and clean our prep has turned out, you guys. Look at this. And then we're going to begin the application. So I'm just picking up my first bead, and I'm placing it where my nail tip and my natural nail meets. Because this nail is small, I did actually want to do a 3-bead method for you guys to see, but this nail is actually small, so I was able, and with the size of brush that I'm actually making use of, I could only make it into a 2-bead method. So I do apologize, but I placed the bead on, like with my nail tip and natural nail meets, and I just feather it down to the free edge, clean up on my sidewalls, make that look nice and neat, and then we're going to move to our next bead. So my damping dish has turned, the monomer in my damping dish has turned green. I purposely left it out there for you guys to see, because that is sort of the reality of what happens when you're doing nails. So that is the leftover monomer from doing the other hand, which is why it has turned green. I later on change or switch the monomer, but like this powder stains, as you guys can see on my paper towel, that this powder stains real bad, so it's only natural that the monomer would also stain. All right, so we finished off on the first nail. I'm just going to encapsulate with clear powder, because this powder isn't exactly a strength powder, and by that I mean it's not strong enough like the clear powder to ensure that the nails will not break. So I'm just encapsulating with clear powder just to be safe, and just so that even when I file the nails, it's easy to file. Sometimes when you're using a powder that stains this much, it usually just contains more pigments than actually acrylic powder, and so even when you're filing it, it's not exactly filing. I don't know if that makes any sense. Alrighty, so we're just going to move to the next nails, and the next finger, sorry, and I'm going to try to explain without interruption. So I'm dipping my brush in the damping dish, and I'm going to pick up my first bead, place where the nail tip and natural nail meets, pat the bead a bit, pat, and then just begin to feather it down to the free edge, just like that. And then you'd notice that I move the nails around. That just helps with like moving the product around as well. And I'm just bringing this nail down to the free edge, take off the excess product on that nail, and just make sure that my shape is intact. For me, shaping is everything. I'm picking up my next bead now, and I'm going to place it on the nail bed just there for you guys to see, and I'm just going to blend that one into the the rest of the nail, which would be the free edge of the nail. And I'm just making sure that it is nice and neat, and again just cleaning up on my sidewalls. Alrighty, so I'm going to pick up my last bead, which would be my cuticle bead, and would help finish up my apex, and I'm just placing it right where the other bead stopped, pushing gently into the cuticle and just feathering into the rest of the nail. So it would seem that I have stained the skin a bit. I'm just going to go in with my brush and just clean up on that side real good. Yeah, and like I said, the essence of cleaning up on your side, the essence of cleaning the nail from the beginning is just leading up down to this stage. Imagine I didn't clean up the sidewalls real good in like nail prep. When that product stains in there, it's just going to be very messy. So I'm just patching the nail now to ensure that there's like I always say, an even amount of nail of product on the nail. And then I'm just going to cap this with clear powder. It's not compulsory that you cap every product with clear powder. Just know that there are some brands that aren't strong enough to be used on their own. So at that point I went to change my monomer because it was just too bad, you guys. It was slurry and it was just staining everything. So again, on this nail, picked up my next bead, placed where my nail tip and natural nail meets, and you guys would notice that this bead is much bigger than the last one. So I'm just going to work it down to the free edge and take out the excess from this nail. So as beginners, when you're working, you don't exactly have to make use of a size 12 brush. You can use any size that you think would be comfortable for you. I usually like to recommend a size 8 because you're able to pick up smaller beads. And you guys just watch my monomer, you would see that after a while it stains. So back to this nail, picked up my next bead, pushed that into the cuticle, and I'm just feathering the rest of the nail into, oh sorry, feathering the rest of the product into, like the body of the nail. And that just builds like my apex. Because this nail is short, first of all, the apex doesn't have to be, like really really high or bumpy, and like all of that. So we're just um like making sure that the nail is clean on all angles, patching up if there's any need, if there's anywhere that needs to be patched up. So when you work, look at your nail from all sides. I always do that, which is why you see that I turn the nails around, I move the nails around. I always look at my nails from all angles to see, if there's anywhere that I need to add a bit more product, if there's anywhere that I don't, or if I've put enough, or if the nail does look good. So just turn the nails around. Don't be shy to bend, to the side to see if the nail does look good actually. So yeah, I'm just finishing up on the encapsulation for this set, and then we're going to move to do the thumb. And I showed the thumb especially because some people do have problems with application on the thumb, because the thumb is actually very big. So look at that application, you guys, that looks great, and it hasn't been filed yet. So for the thumb, you'd want to work with much larger beads, just because the thumb is larger than the rest of the nail. So you see me pick up like a really large bead, and the thumb, I always do my thumb in like in 3 beads. I always do. So the first bead I placed on the nail tip, I try to push it like to where the nail tip and natural nail meets, and I'm just going to try to feel like the free edge of this nail. The free edge is where the nail is like the extension. So also ensure that the nails are tilted downwards. That way the product does flow downwards, not like on the side. That's another thing. Most of the time, the reason the thumb is hard to do is because the thumb is literally just standing there, like flat out. So make sure that the thumb is like facing downwards. That helps with how the product will flow, and you're being able to control your bead. All right, so I'm just going to clean up on this nail really good. Then I'm going to pick up my next bead, and my next bead I'm going to place on the nail bed, try to get my apex out of there, and then just fill up the rest of the nail. So yeah, I'm just placing that bead down, and I'm just feathering it, and I'm paying very very close attention to my side walls. I don't want any staining or anything, because this powder, like you guys can see, actually you can see my monomer already. This powder does stain real good, so I don't want that on the skin, because if it touches the skin, it's going to be hard to brush out. I don't want any of that. I want my work to be neat from the onset. So that cuticle bead, I'm just pushing into the cuticle, and then I'm just gently like doing the sides, making sure that the nail is clean. And that's just how to do the thumb application, you guys. Because I have to cap this nail, I'm going to put just a bead. I usually also, yeah, I forgot to say, also the reason I brush on my on my nail before I apply the clear powder is because the clear powder does set real fast. Yeah, so that just helps to get the product moving. The clear powder is actually really fast setting. So yeah, you guys, that concludes the application. We're going to go into filing now. I filed this hand, and I'm just going to show you guys how I file one of the fingers. So I'm going to take my 100 grit file, and I'm just filing the side walls first. And because we're doing a tapered square shape, I want to make sure that like my side walls are sharp. So when I place my file on the side to file out straight, I do not turn or twist my hands. I try to make sure that so yeah, sorry before I got cut off. I try to make sure that my hands are straight. Alrighty, so I'm just doing now the body of the nail. Don't worry, you guys, I will still drop a video just on filing, just on like how I file. That's all what the video is going to be about. And even on nail prep too, I'm going to still further go into details on this video. This is like the first episode, and yeah, so I'm just looking out for things I could change, things that can be better. So yeah, so I'm just filing on the nail bed as well, and I'm moving my hands. I always move my hands, and then at some point you'd see that I turn my client's nails just to see what she's seeing from her own point of view. Okay, and then I always just correct my shape. So when I turn my client's nails, there I can now see, okay, this part needs to be filed more, this part needs to be addressed as well. You could always just see what it is your client is seeing. And you guys, most of my work is hand filed. I only use my e-file for like cleanups and just for extra neatness. So this is all the nails that have been filed. To crisp up my free edge, I just do it this way. This is how I do it. This is why I didn't film it, because as you can see, my phone keeps moving when the table moves, or when I file, sorry. So you guys, next I'm just going in with my sanding band, and I'm just going to go around the cuticle area. This is why this step is very important, because it makes the nails really neat. Before, I just used to use my my hand file, and that would be it. But this step does like make the nails really neat. It does contribute to making that cuticle really nice and flush after you've worked so hard on that application. And you guys can see those nails look really good. So I'm just going over the body of the nail as well, just in case, and just smoothing everything that needs to be smoothed. And you guys, like I said, this is not how fast I file or how fast I work. This video is actually sped up twice the actual speed. Alrighty, so that looks good, and I'm just looking at that from all angles. I'm just going to buffer the nail next, and we're buffering because we want a smooth and smooth and clean surface. After this, I'm going to tell my clients to go wash her hands, and that just helps remove any dust. Alrighty guys, so we've moved into applying the top coat, and this is matte top coat that I'm making use of. It's almost out. In fact, it's finished. I kept trying to tilt my bottle. I only have one client who does matte top coat. You guys, I've had this bottle for such a long time. I've not seen any need to like restock, except for today or last night, because I went back and my matte top coat was finished. So I'm going to restock, you guys. I've got like one client that just does matte nails, and it's so pretty. So applying one coat to all of the nails, we're going to cure in the lamp 60 seconds, and then we'll come back for design. Alright guys, so this is the other hand. It already has like the matte top coat on there, and for the design, you guys would notice that this part of the video is sped up real good, and that's because this design did not come out the way I expected. I still left this part of the video for people to see just how I achieved like the end result. But if you've gotten to this part of the video and you're still watching, thank you very much. If you're still watching and you're not subscribed, please hit that subscribe button, turn on post notifications. I still have a lot more like new videos coming out. I think my next video is going to be on an infill, so if you really like to see that, do subscribe. And yeah, make sure to give this video a thumbs up, share, because there are people who would want to learn nails, and they're probably on your contact, or you probably know them, or they're like on your timeline. Share so that they can see as well. I think this video would be really helpful. So yeah, you guys, back to this design did not come out the way I planned, because as you guys can see, the acrylic powder is quite sheer. It's not exactly giving contrast that I wanted. Like, it's not showing the patterns that much in the flower. I was really disappointed, especially because I mixed this powder myself. I mean, my client thought it was really really cute, but she didn't just know, you know, like the bigger plans I had. But I'm definitely going to redo this design. I'm going to remix this powder again to just see, you know, what it would have looked like if it would have looked, you know, the way I planned. But anyways, you guys, what I was basically trying to do was just some 3D flowers on there, and then I just put a stone in the middle, and then for the rest of the nail we just put stones, some really nice stones. And I eventually go off camera to bling out the entire nail because it looked much better. So yeah, but there you have it, you guys. I hope everything I've said and done in this video in terms of the nail prep, the application, the shaping, I really hope it was helpful. I will try to put out more detailed video. My next video, like I said, will be an infill, but I'm hoping to put out, if I've got something much better, I'll put it out there for you guys to see. I'm hoping to put out better content, you know, and more detailed video as well, so let me know what you guys think. Please make sure to comment, like, share, subscribe. Alright, you guys. Okay, so also back to the nails. I'm sorry, but you guys would notice I'm making use of nail glue, and what I do is I just file on the place where I want to apply my glue, just like that, put some nail glue there and apply the stone, and that just stays. It amazes me, I know, it stays from like now till the next time my client wants to do their nails. So if it works for you, you can give it a go. If not, you could just try buying rhinestone glue. I haven't been able to buy rhinestone glue, which is why I do this. I'm here in Nigeria. All the rhinestone glues that I've, you know, gotten, they've all been horrible, so I haven't been able to get my hands on really good products. Alrighty guys, so this is the part where I've gone off camera and I've applied more stones, obviously, and then I'm just applying cuticle oil on all of the nails so that, you know, that cuticle that I have worked so much can look beautiful and, you know, rejuvenated. Alrighty guys, this is the final result. Let me know what you think. I think the set was really pretty. Let me know what you think in the comment section below. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you in my next one. Bye bye.